Okay, let's do a market recap for today, Thursday, crazy Thursday. And of course tomorrow is Friday, quadruple witching expiration, so it's gonna be crazy tomorrow. I will not be holding anything overnight for tomorrow. I will be playing the options, but only be buying the options for potential big swings tomorrow because as you can see, like I said on the weekly chart, this nice green candle on the weekly chart has now gone red. Reversal on, well, they did it started on Wednesday, but reversal on Thursday and Friday. Well, Friday is not here yet, but let's see what happened. So what did they do today? And let's see what happened yesterday. They closed it at the 5-day moving average. Now, I always hope to have the next day be a gap up so that I can short or buy the puts for this downturn. Head, they gap it up. Um, Head, they gap it up. Yes, and they try to defend the 5-day moving average and gap it up. Man, I would have gone made so much money on this downturn to the low. But of course, they never give it to you so easily. I mean, gapping up would be such an easy thing to give to players like myself because we know the bias is down. But anyhow, here is where we stand. So they, instead of gapping it up, they even gap it below the 50-day moving average. They gap it to the very low of the Friday low. So you have all this fear in the market now. Had you been smart or brave, and had bought right at the open, because I mean, come on, that's a classic signature where a huge gap down would be initial buying. Almost any time you see initial huge gap down, you see initial buying. However, I was afraid of initial buying and then an additional pullback or flush or crash. Who knows? Now there is traders who reported buying 100 options, 100 calls on Tesla 420, 100 calls right off the bat to make 75,000. This is a double play. So if you had, let's just say 11,000, you would make a double of that. So you would make 11,000 on this run up. So that person put 50,000 to make, well, they reported 75,000, 100 calls of this 420 calls. Now I don't know if that's real or not. Seems suspicious because I mean, yes, it's possible, but on most day, if you buying 100 calls, the market maker will see those 100 calls and they will go the opposite direction. No doubt about it. They will go the opposite because they have the shares to trade the opposite way and try to force you out. Never would they give it to you that easily. However, today is an exception because you do have this huge gap down. I would have loved to see some initial flush or smackdown scale out. That's why I'm kind of suspicious because I think anyone who would have bought 100 calls right off the bat will face an initial smackdown, initial sell off to scare them out. Rarely do they give you something that easy. So that's why I am hesitant to load up so much on any one position. If I were to play 100 calls, I would probably spread it out on Tesla, on Amazon, on Apple, because I just feel like the market maker will manipulate and scare you out before the buyers step in and make your position profitable. But let's just talk about what to do now and what most likely will happen. So this is a nice tail. or a nice wick, which is a bearish candle. Anytime you have a wick, especially below the 50-day moving average. Now you can see this is a very close partner to this candle, except it's the opposite because it's showing weakness where this is showing strength. However, they still both have long wicks or long tails, reversal. Now this closed above the 50-day moving average. So anytime you see something that goes straight down and close on a 50-day moving average, it's going to have support. This is the opposite. This is all the way down and moving up below the 50-day moving average. So a possibility would be a gap down. Now they can gap it down really bad tomorrow. Why? Because this candle right here, this is quadruple witching. Tomorrow is quadruple witching option expiration, so there is always a possibility that they make this really painful for a lot of traders, and that would be a nice red candle on the close for the weekly that looks something like this. I mean, look how nice that candle would look with the wick right down here touching, if this guy continues to go up, right, something that touches the 20 week moving average. I mean, look how nice that candle would line up. That's a very pretty candle that would show something like that. And I think if they end up like that for tomorrow, what that would mean would pretty much mean, let's just use a different color, uh, yellow. This would pretty much be the top of 2020. Top of 2020. Wow, can you believe whoever would have figured this would be the top of 2020, but hey, it most likely is because look at this nice 5 week moving average that pretty much lines up with the tail or the support all the way, and here's the flat line. So if it goes the opposite direction, you would have candles that are going this will be the ceiling, and you would have nice symmetrical candles that line up where the 5 week moving average is the ceiling. Now, I mean, jeez, this is hard to believe, hard to fathom. I mean, only the futures or only when it happened will you see it. But I'm not gonna trust it for now, even though it looks like a nice possibility. But one other thing is this, look at this nice signature. You will never be able to see this signature of 20 something candles so nice and fresh and clean like that. I mean, even if you benchmark all the way to the 2000, here is the 2000, yeah, this is it right here. 2019, 2000. Well, not this one. This is still manipulation, so that's why it's clean. But if you go all the way to 2018, you won't see that nice clean. It's really jagged. Here it is. This is 2017. Where's 2018? Here it is. 2018. Look at how jagged those signatures are. They just jagged. They're not clean. They're not manipulated. But still, you got to sell off. And so, this is, most likely looks like I mean, this is a nice reversal here. So, why can't it happen? Well, yeah, this is the coronavirus right here. Look at all this clean manipulation. I mean, this isn't as clean as what it is right now. I mean, this is really clean. Look how clean that is. But yeah, so most likely, I'm gonna have to say this is the high of 2020, and it looks like something where you saw in 2018. Even though right now it's hard to fathom that they can do something like that. I mean, this reversal just seems impossible right now because of all the money printing, and interactions. I mean, geez. I mean, how can they reverse it like this? But yeah, I guess anything is possible. You're just gonna have to play it day by day, and the day by day is the negative. So I am expecting further downturn. What I'm hoping for tomorrow, I'm hoping for some sort of a gap. I'm hoping for some sort of a gap up. And the only reason why I'm hoping for a gap up is because I'm benchmarking this signature right here. If you look at this signature, this is very similar. This tail, I mean this long wick candle right here. The next day is a gap up day. So that is why I'm hoping for a gap up tomorrow, because a nice gap up tomorrow anywhere up here. Let's just use Amazon for kicks and giggles. Where's Amazon at? Right here. And actually, yeah, well, let's just use Tesla. I mean, that's what I want to play tomorrow is Tesla. So a gap up tomorrow. I would like to buy some puts, buy some options. So puts would be a nice one. So let's just use what candle I'm using. Customize. Just use the Fuchsia. And so a gap up. If they gap up, they might gap up to this point right here, right here. So that's a gap up, and they won't get to this high. So any initial strength, if I'm lucky to get initial strength, I'm expecting something down here, anywhere 410, 420 for the close. So that would be the nice play. Let's just look at those options real quick. And let's just look at something like the 425 options. If a gap up, these options would be anywhere in a initial strength. These options would be anywhere in the eights, low eights, maybe even high sevens. Somewhere there, maybe buy five puts, only five puts. I don't want to load up because I just feel like they will see my options, and of course they would go the opposite direction when they see my options. But yeah, I am hoping for initial strength if I'm lucky because of quadruple witching. Most likely they will sell it off in the afternoon or whatever. It will be continued sell off. Whatever initial strength the afternoon, because of quadruple witching, there is a very likely chance whatever the afternoon is just gonna be continue rundown. In everything, even the queues, right? So yeah, that's why you have that nice, it'll show a nice red candle for the weekly, and that would set up for a little bounce if that condition plays out. It was set up for a nice little bounce to test the 5 week moving average next week. Um, so if this was like I say it was, and they flush it out tomorrow, something like that, with the tail, then you got this yellow 5 day moving average, and this will start going negative and something like that. So that was set up for a candle to go the opposite way to next week, a green candle. So here you got something where it'll start testing, and then it'll hit the that guy, right? Testing the 5 week, and this one will continue like that, going flat like that, because you got something here, and that would set up some additional reversal candle for next week, and so forth and so on. Yeah, so even on the upswing, you see there's some red candles, but they do test the 5 week moving average. So in the downturn, you will see some green candles. Every now and then you see some green candles, but most of the candles will be red, and the ceilings will be the ceilings will be the 5 week moving average instead of the support. So something like that, right? Now that's is very ideal. I mean, I won't believe it unless, I mean, geez, if that actually happened, how controlled is this market where they can do a nice little oscillation like that, all the way up, all the way down? I mean, geez, can it be that manipulated? I guess it can. But I mean, I won't believe it until I see it. Everybody who played a push is hoping for a re-push. Who doesn't want to do a re-push? If you are accustomed to playing the push, I mean the push is so satisfactory. Everybody's making money on this push, push. So everybody wants to push again. Well, I don't know if they're gonna give it to you. I feel like it's just going to be the opposite, and this is the top for 2020. So the play tomorrow is obviously on the opposite side, playing the puts. Now, obviously, it can be something different, so, I mean, you can always do a straddle. If I were to do a straddle, which is buying a one option or a few option on the, because why would you play the straddle? I would play it for, look at Amazon, right at 3,000 on the aftermarket. I mean, they landed right at 3,000, like I said. So it can possibly open right at 3,000 for tomorrow. So if it does open right at 3,000, buying one or two calls and puts, so you would straddle. Why would you straddle? Because you're hoping, let's just say tomorrow it opens right at 3,000, you are hoping for some movement that would do something like that. Or if it's the opposite direction, you are hoping, or if it goes the other way, you're hoping for something like that. Now, if you were to buy one put and one call at the beginning, you would have, let's just say, two puts and two calls. So each one, whichever direction that it goes, whether it goes up or down, you hoping to make 2x, let's just say 2x. So if you put 2,000, you are hoping to make 4K, and whatever this is, the opposite one, the reversal would limit your loss to maybe 1K or maybe even less, 500. So you end up making 3,000. Um, Either way it goes, whether it goes up or down, you're hoping to make 2x on one of these calls or one of these puts, or I mean, two of these calls, two of these puts. Essentially, the volatility and the reversal would limit your loss on the opposite one. And this is a nice play. I'm hoping if it does open right on the flat line tomorrow, that would be the play that I would play, a straddle position. I think Amazon is the best candidate for a straddle position. I don't think and Tesla, I mean Tesla, I guess is also a candidate for a straddle. Because it's gonna either go to 4,000 or maybe 450, because it's right now at 425 more or less. So 450 or 400. Playing a straddle on that one would also be a good play if it opens at the flat line. Let's just see where Apple is at. So Apple is below the 50 weeks moving average. So, or 50-day moving average. That's pretty bearish. Yeah, it just looks like more downside on Apple to me. However, Apple is a pretty strong instrument, so there is always a possibility of a bounce. And a bounce to the 5-day moving average is a possibility. Now, why would there be a bounce? Well, there's always a chance that the players out there, since a lot of people they know is making profit on, let's say, what is these 3 weeks going the opposite direction, there may be an imbalance in the options. So they want this candle to end up being green. That would make it looks pretty nice if this candle end up being a green candle. So it'll end up closing up here. If it does end up closing up here, it'll be a nice green candle. It'll be instead of a red candle, and that would set up a potential rally for next week. Because if this is a green candle, let's just draw it in. If this is a green candle, so next week would be an additional green candle for something like this, where the wick can go above the 5 week moving average, and that's also a possibility. So if this is a green, this would be still flattened out, and that will be something like that. And then a continued uptrend. Possibility if they rescue this candle. Right now, it seems almost difficult for them to rescue this candle, but geez, I mean, anything is possible. So that's why I'm expecting a really wicked turn tomorrow, either upside or downside. I can't imagine that they stay at this level because there are fighters both ways, wanting this candle to be green or wanting this candle to be nice and red. Those are the two fighters out there. I mean, geez. I guess it can always stay where it is, but it is quadruple witching. Why would it stay where it is? Well, because Amazon is right at 3,000, so why not stay where it is? But it looks even nicer if it's down there, to be honest. I mean, wow. Yeah, I have to lean the opposite direction. How can you lean on the positive bias? I mean, even though they want to make the candle green, this just looks so attractive to me. This pattern looks just so beautiful to form for the end, and this would be right at 2,900. 2,900. This looks so attractive, this pattern, which set up that candle going, I mean, the yellow going down. So it'll be pretty much like what the QQQ would look. But a smaller neck on the candle, on that bounce candle, you have something that touches the week moving. That's so pretty way yeah, but man, it never happens like but let's play it and let's see what happens. Whatever they give you, is you're gonna have to play it, but play extreme to extreme. Don't play the intermediate, and you gotta play. Don't sell. Do not sell any options tomorrow. I will not be selling any options. I gotta remind myself. I keep forgetting. I should not sell any options tomorrow. It's just so risky, and I should not play anything in the middle because geez, it's just so much trap in the middle. And I just have this tendency to keep scalping, but you can't scalp on option expiration. And normally I don't play option expiration, but this opportunity is too big, too enticing. You gotta play it because it's just too much movement, and playing the options, if I get the guts to play it tomorrow, would hopefully play out pretty nicely for me.